Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another quick blending tutorial. We are going to be looking at some extra resources today. Why? Because it lets you cheat. Um, well, there's nothing cheating in Blender. It's just quicker ways of doing things. So, without further ado, we'll jump in. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to add some add-ons to Blender. So, first of all, I'm going to go to my edit menu, go into preferences, and we'll look at some add-ons. Okay, there's some add-ons that I don't know why they don't come as standard. They're built into Blender, but they're not enabled initially. So we're just going to enable them. One of the first ones is going to be Node Wrangler. Node Wrangler, if you're working with anything in nodes, I don't know why it's not standard. It allows you to preview nodes and things like that. So, but we'll come over to nodes at a later date. But for now, I'm just going to show you where the plugins are. And Node Wrangler is there, and that's it. All I do, type in Node at the edit, preferences, add-ons, then type Node so I can find it easier. And just put a tick box in the box, and that's it. Node Wrangler installed. The next one I use quite a bit of the time is dynamic skies. So I'm going to put sky in. Useful for when you're making a scene for the lighting, etc. And dynamic sky is on. And that's that one then. The next one I'm going to use is light, and I'm going to use the I'm going to put the sun position on because it goes with the dynamic sky. We'll look at that later. And I'm going to do the lighting, try lighting, which is, if you've ever done anything at all with camera work, you'll know what try lighting is. It's an automatic setup of 3 lights that illuminate the screen as though it was in a studio. So they're my 3. So I installed those. The other one I use all the time doesn't come built in, and it's a good one to show you something. So, edit, preferences. I know what it's called. It's called Kit. It's called Blender Kit. As you can see, not in my list. Well, Blender Kit has its own website, which you can go in and just download it from. So, without further ado, I'm gonna jump onto Blender Kit, and there we go, Blender Kit. So, just type Blender Kit in Google, and it'll come up. There's the site. As you can see, Blender Kit downloaded 26,030 times, free 3D models, textures, and yeah, and all sorts of stuff, including materials. But so we're just going to open Blender Kit on the website. Now, I already have an account, honestly. Seriously, I do. It is free to register. You can either go for the free access or you can buy a full plan. There is a subscription version of it which you can get extra assets from, but for now, we're just going to go. Promise you, we'll keep it free, so I'm going to go. I want free assets. So, we're going on there. Now it's going to tell me to download it. So that's what we're going to do. Now I've downloaded this numerous times over the time. So it's there, it's in, and it's done. It goes to my download folder. So I'm just going to go back to Blender. Now I've got it downloaded, and I'm going to go this little install button up here, which allows you to download them. Now it comes in a zip file. You do not need to unzip the zip file. You literally just there it is. It's that one. And I'm going to install the add-on. And hopefully, without further ado, there we go. I'm done. It's going to tell me it wants to update. Don't know why, it always does. So I'm going to click OK. Click on the OK button. Yeah. And I've installed it. Now, waiting for a thing. What it's looking for is looking for me to restart my Blender. My Blender Kit is one of the plugins that requires a restart. So I'm going to go click. Don't save my current scene because it was just to get the plugin set up. And I'm going to go back into Blender. And general. And you can see it's there. And it will possibly, I say possibly, more than likely, ask you to Blender Kit. Here on this side, you will need, if you've not already done so, you'll have an option to log in. The login is obviously to your account. Set up a free account on it. It's up here. Blender Kit login. Log in. Yeah, and it will ask me to log in. I'm just going to log in with the Gmail because it's what I used. And okay, now I'm logged in. There we go. Logged in. So I'm gonna go back into Blender. Gonna see I was already logged in because it updated, it asked me to change it. I can change my plan. I can upload things to the Blender Kit Market. Or I can log out. But what we got now is we've got this bar at the top. Now I'm gonna search for something. I'm gonna search for car. Don't know why car. I use it for Google as well. I always search for car. And you can see I've got 3 cars, but I've got these ones with a little padlock on. The padlock, oddly enough, are the paid for ones. Yeah, I've not bought them, so they're not in my list. But up here on my filters, this little filter button up here, I can tell it to go free first. And it'll give me the free cars first. So let's just get a car, shall we? I want a car for my scene. Dink. And most of the stuff on here, on the Blender Kit, you are, I repeat, you are allowed to use for your own jobs, etc. Obviously, if you're just gonna straightforward grab the car, which I'll show you in a second, does come with textures. Export it to AV. Then, my own opinion is it's probably not something to do because, well, one, you're not learning a lot, and the second one is you're actually claiming somebody else's work for your own. But if you wanted to upload it and maybe give it away for free with a little tag for who you got it off, this one is from Sadon 322. So just tag it. Found on Blender Kit, created by Sadon 322. Attribute who you get your work off. It's just nice because eventually you want people to be able to say, "Hey, I got this off." I don't know. Your name at AVL. So anyway, so there's lots of resource on here. The other thing that's just your models, it gets better. So I'm just going to get rid of this car. Okay, so I'm going to go to muscle car on my Scene Explorer, and I'm going to delete. What is it? Delete hierarchy. There we go, and it's gone. So I'm going back to my cube, our old friend default cube. Right. What I use this for all the time is I'm looking for a texture. Tell you what, we'll make it sci-fi. Just so I've typed in sci-fi and I've got a whole load of sci-fi textures. These are already ready to go. And I'm just going to throw it onto my cube. and I don't see anything. Well, obviously I'm not going to see anything because I'm not in preview mode and not in render mode. So I'm going to go preview mode, and there we go. And we now have a sci-fi cube. Yep, straightforward, easy enough. Okay, that's it. That's all. Blender kit. A wonderful asset library, wonderful things. There are lots and lots and lots of places that you can get assets, and also materials, models, anything you like for Blender. And there's a massive library of plugins. But where do we find the rest of the plugins? Well, I'll tell you that. I'm just going to go into Google on a new tab. I'm going to type in Blender add-ons. Yeah. And we'll find, third on the list, Blender Market. Okay. The best tool for Blender on the market. Explore over 48,331 handcrafted high-quality Blender models, shaders, add-ons, and more from independent creators. That's you, me, us type of people. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through add-ons. I'm going to go through the add-ons. And you can see there is, well, it gives me more options there, but there's add-ons we love. There's Falcon Cam. You pay $50, sorry. Falcon Cam. Okay. Lots and lots and lots and lots of add-ons. Okay. But what I'm gonna do is lots and lots of options. But there are all the pay for ones. What I want to look at, I want to look at all products. And I'm going to do it price low to high. Also could do this up here and click free, and it will give me free options. So there's Blender Kit, our good friend we've just installed. Notice how popular it is, first on the list. I tell you, such a great asset. We've got Rigify for rigging little Lego type people, but learning about rigging, which you will need if you're going to do animations and anime stuff for rig models. We have lots and lots of options. Simple tabs, something I don't use very often. Some people love it. I don't really touch it. Let me just show you what Simple Tab is. Simple tabs no longer forget tabs. Instead, you can remove them manually if needed. The item tab is no longer a forced part of the executive. Yeah. And it'll tell you all about it there. And something some people like, some people don't like. I don't usually use it much for work, to be honest with you. I just play with this all the time. Ragdoll is a real-time physics solver for animations, originally built for Autodesk Maya and now available for Blender. Ragdoll, what can you do with, well, there's free version there. What can you do with Ragdoll? Well, Ragdoll, you can basically make a Ragdoll that you can push around the screen, and create animations, etc. with it, which is awesome. There's lots of tutorials about it, lots of videos on it, and it is a really nice piece of work. It's also quite fun to just pick up a ragdoll and throw it, and basically push it around the screen and bend it and throw it up in the air and let it fall to the ground and see what happens. But okay, there's sculpt bridge tool, making bridges, quite obvious. Okay, there is a lot of various things you can actually add on to Blender. And some of them, as I say, are paid for. Quite a few of them are free, but it's always useful. But we don't like paying for things, do we? No. Well, that's the next site I'm going to take you to. It's a site called CC0 Textures. Creative Commons 0. Okay. cc0textures.com. It is public domain textures so you can use anywhere you want to use them. They are 100% free. I repeat, 100% free. So clicked it, and here's the site. CC0 and Bark. All right. Okay. We want Bark for maybe something. Let's find something a bit different. How about floor textures? Because if we're making houses, we might need a floor texture. Do you think? Okay. And I'm just scrolling down. I'm looking at what's new. You can see I've got 6 pages worth of them to go through. I've got most of the early ones, so I'm going to go back to these ones. I kind of quite like that because it's a bit grungy, bit dirty. So I'm going to use that one now. Okay. Textures in can be huge. You might find yourself downloading a lot of textures and materials and assets and things to Blender for working in your models. But so I tend to do something which I'm about to show you. I've just downloaded that texture, which is great, 4K texture, and I'm going to open it up in the folder. The first thing I'm going to do, so I'm not continually just re-downloading, is I'm going to go to my G drive. I'm going to go on my Blender tuts, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new folder, and I've deleted the old folder deliberately so I can show you this. New folder, and I'm going to call it assets. And inside my asset folder, you can call it whatever you like. It's just they are assets, so it's easy to find. Inside there, I'm going to make another folder to keep myself organized. New folder, and I'm going to call it materials. Yeah. Inside the materials folder, weirdly enough, I'm going to make another folder, which again is to keep myself organized. New folder, keep yourself organized. I'm going to call it CC zeros. Yeah, because that will tell me anything in that folder I've got full rights to, and I don't need any. I'm not working with licensing, etc., which you may find at times you need to do. But there you go. I've made my folder. I'm then going to go back to my let me just open a second folder. Open in new window. There we go. And I'm going to go back to my downloads, and we should have there's the file. I'm going to drag it over, drop it into there. Why have I not unzipped it into there? Well, I'll tell you. Because if I unzip it into there, it will, then I'll end up by renaming the folder and etc. etc. Yeah. And then I'm just going to open it with Windows Explorer. And because Windows Explorer now has a zip. And I'm going to extract all. And it's automatically giving me Blender, TUDS, Assets, Materials, which is why I set it up. CC0 and the name of the file. Extract. Okay. And now I've extracted it. Okay. You can see from our previous quick tutorial on with working with textures, you have various files here. You've got the color, you've got your displacement, you've got your normal, you've got your roughness, yeah, and you've got a preview of the texture. Nice and easy. So there you go, a few resources for you. Now, just before we go, I'm going to show you once, just quickly, how to use our plugins we made. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete default cube. I'm going to close that one down for a minute. Add mesh cube. Yep. Just so no tight. Close that down for a minute. And close that down for a minute. And close that down for a minute. All right. Okay. So we're going to make a texture. We know what to do. We'll just go over this quickly because it's just so you can show you what you can do with the free resources. I've just got the standard default cube, and I'm going to click a new. Come down to my materials, new material. Yeah. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click use nodes. Make sure I'm on the use nodes. Then I'm going to come up here and go to our shading editor. And I should hopefully have Node Wrangler enabled, and I do. And click there, add texture setup, and it's just going to add one texture. So I'm going to Control and Z that, because what I want to do is I want to add a principal setup, and that will give me the option to bring in all the details at once. So I saved it on G Drive. I saved it in Blender Tuts. I saved it in Assets, Materials, CC0, Tiles, and the ones I want, well, I need, let me see, I need a roughness, definitely need a roughness. I need a normal. I'm going to use the a GL normal. I need the displacement. I need the color. Yeah. And now all I've got to do is import them. And hopefully it should. Ta-da! See? And now we've got our texture in there. Okay. This setup, it did it automatically for us. I will explain it through. Okay. So the first thing is UV. There's various options. You can go to the normals, the direction of the face. You can go to the UV. You can go to object. Usually best off, especially for AV, is use your UV for your texturing. Yeah. Then it's made some. Let me just close that up so you can see this a bit better, and maybe zoom out a little so you can see. It's made some textures. Well, or rather, brought some textures and put them into a material. So, in the base color, it's brought the base color texture in and connected it up to there. In the roughness, it's taken it to the roughness. Okay, and my normal map is taken over to put it in the normal. My displacement map, okay, is taking displacement around into a displacement node. Yeah. And then put it into the material, not into the principal, but into the material output displacement map. A displacement is a physical displacement of the mesh. Your roughness bump, etc., is a graphical representation of displacement, but the displacement map in Blender actually physically displaces the mesh. So, what am I up to? Got everything sorted? There we go. So now I'm just going to go back to layout mode, and just before we go, I'm going to go back to object mode, edit mode, and I'm going to show you something quickly because it's important when working with textures. I'm going to change the mesh. Notice when I change the mesh. Oh, hang on, something's going wrong here. I'm trying to make a floor, but that's not the right texture now, is it? Well, the reason being is, let me just switch back into object mode. And the first thing, as I said in the previous tutorial, we're working with textures, is apply all transforms, object, set origin to the geometry. Yeah. And might help the access the object selected. Let's try that again. Apply all transforms, object, set origin to geometry. Right, and then it's still not looking right. So go to UV editing, select all. I want all the faces. Let's zoom this out. That's what I've currently got. You'll notice that the UV is still in the cube, and we've now got an oblong. That's why it's not looking right. So UV, and I'm just going to use a smart UV project. Let it do its thing. You'll notice now it's changed my UV. And if I could go back into layout mode for this, but don't really need to, just need to stretch the screens over so I can see the material preview. And there we go. Let me take the highlight off the selection. And now you can see my floor looks like a floor. And that's it. Well, the tiles are a bit big on the floor. Well, I could quite easily, either option would be fine. I could quite easily, and this is the better option for using with AV, which is I could use this and just scale my floor. There you go. Now it's looking more like a floor. Edit, undo. Right. But another option I've got is I can go into UV. I can go, back into the shading editor. Now I've unwrapped it. Yeah. And my problem is my actual texture is way, 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 way big and tight. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in here and I'm going to add a vector transform. Yeah. And then select that vector transform up to there. Now then, I kind of need to be able to see what I'm doing, so I'm going to close over here, and I'm going to put this one into my 3D viewport just so I can see what I'm doing. Notice there. Bring it up so I can actually see the texture. So now I can see what I'm doing in there. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use this scale here. And I'm just going to scale the texture up. And now you can see the UV map has changed. When I come out later to put these textures into SL, what I can do is I can save the textures out and it will put them into the right size, etc. But for now, there you go. A few extra resources for you, and hopefully they'll be helpful for you. We will see you next time, hopefully, and we'll look at some houses.